Welcome to a brand new episode of the Fitish podcast. I don't know where to look. I don't know what to do with my hands. We're getting very official if y'all haven't watched us on YouTube. Hello, Fran.
Hi. I feel like
Welcome.
singing or some.
Yeah, so, most of you just listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, but we do film them. They are on YouTube for your liking and your entertainment if you want to listen again and watch us. But now we're hands-free. We got fancy Fitish mics. We have 2 cameras.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's starting to feel very porny also. Like all
Porny?
angle. Yeah, like all angles. I don't know if they're my good angles.
Porny. There's no good angles in porn. I think about that actually more often than I'd like to admit. No, I mean, it's just like sex in general. Not this was not part of the planned agenda today, but the angles, the filming angles of porn, very uncomfortable, especially as a woman. There's just like a lot of bad angles. And I know that they say that guys don't care about, certain things when they're having sex because it's like what women think about, like I'm like, my stomach looks fat or whatever from this direction. And I know that's probably not what you're thinking about at the time, but it is something to consider.
Yeah.
Or how are you feeling? Your angle should be great. I mean, you are 19 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a good angle down. You've lost 19 pounds.
Well, I still have some down to go, but yeah, I feel much better. You know that it's not about my weight. It's about my age. So I went from 44 of my metabolic age to 35. So I almost dropped 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm still 16 in my head, but...
Are you?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And when you fight, when we argue. But Fran was, you've been super healthy. I thought he'd let a little more loose on vacay and he didn't. And he didn't bring any of his diet food snacks, but he still kept it really healthy, just eating like fish and veggies. And then we get home and he's like, you know what? I think I'd like to order a pizza. And my fat ass is like, yeah, sounds good. Sure. So I'm like eating dessert before I eat pizza and I take a bite of the pizza and I'm like,
amazing pizza, by the way.
Something tastes different about this pizza. So I look at the receipt on the box. He ordered cauliflower crust pizza. Who are you?
Babe, this is someone that wants to see his kid.
I used to wake up in the middle of the night
getting married.
and I would hear you and you were snacking.
I want to be able to be here for my kids.
I blame you for my weight gain because you're like getting McDonald's delivered at 10 p.m.
Well, that was a
in
phase.
Bed eating a phase that lasted
a
like 2
chapter
years.
That we closed.
We closed it?
Closed. We're writing a new chapter. The longevity one.
It's been a nice chapter, actually. We had a great vacation. It was a nice week. It was different than I anticipated in great ways, actually. I thought Remy, I don't know, I guess I thought it'd be a little more of a grind than it was. He's at a fun age now. He turned 15 months when we were on that trip. And just so y'all know, I swore I would never be that parent that gave you the months, but I'm doing that because I know a lot of you are parents. So knowing your audience, I usually will just say a year and a half, but
I said 1.3.
You said 1.3, which is 1 year, 1.3 years. That's what I heard Francisco saying to someone, and they kind of laughed like confused, but
if you laugh confused, it's because you need to go back to your primary chapters in school.
He started, so he's been walking more. I just think I'm having more fun with him as time has gone on because he has more personality. He's saying no. He's throwing fits, but he's able to communicate more. And I wasn't expecting him to enjoy the vacation as much as he did. He was just loving life, like loving the sand, loving the ocean freedom. Coming in, loving the freedom because we could just put him down. He is not into being in a high chair. He does not want to be contained. He wants to roam around. So to be like at a cool kind of beach resort where there were other kids as well, and he could just roam around our little villa room that we had, and we had a pool outside so he could crawl around there, crawl around on the beach. He was exhausted every day. It was a lot of fun.
What a perfect setup that room is.
Yeah. It was great. We went down to Mayakoba if you're interested or want a new kind of vacay recommendation. Mayakoba's super cool. It's where Fran does a lot of actually real estate work. He's had a project down there, which isn't developed yet, but I mean, they're selling units. But
Yeah, we're breaking ground in 2 months, but it's just an amazing community.
you know what? And I don't get paid for promoting Mayakoba by any means, but something great about it is its proximity to the airport. It's only about 20 or 30 minutes from, when you land to get there, and you fly to Cancun and you turn off the road. There are 4 hotel properties back there. And what I didn't know, which is so funny, I didn't know until the last night, really, in what kind of fashion they all connected, because we took a golf cart from our hotel to kind of the one that's farthest away, yet they're all back there. They went through these like beach roads, so you're almost alongside the beach. So we saw like a wedding, we saw people having dinner. So we're going through, there's the
It's like a little city.
Fairmont
it's like a little
Hotel,
town,
there's
for
a
sure.
Rosewood Hotel, the Banyan Tree, and then an Andaz. And so then we went to dinner at the Andaz on the beach. It was actually so great. And yeah, golf cart drove us the whole way, and then you put it on your room. So then we were like, yeah, just put it on our room at this other hotel. So all the hotels support
Almost
each other.
30 restaurants,
Yeah.
4
So cool.
properties. It's amazing. You can go by
Almost 30
golf
restaurants.
cart.
By the way, we ate at like 3 of them.
Yeah.
2 of them, room service included.
You can go through golf cart,
Yeah.
boat, or
Boat.
bicycle.
Yeah, the boat. Yeah, I loved it. And there's kids clubs at all the properties. And so, yeah, I think that's what changes, right? Amongst the other million things that change when you have kids, you care about the amenities at a hotel more for your kids. I mean, Fran didn't even notice this. They left me dish detergent and a bottle brush and like bath time stuff. You saw that for Remy. If I would have known, I wouldn't have brought all my own, being the crazy packer that I am, and brought all my own. I didn't even know they were going to do that. And so they like leave you little kids stuff, which is just such a nice touch, because I think, hotels and people learn when you have kids. Like that's really the most important thing is, do they have a good kids eat free, right?
Yeah.
All the kids meals were free. So then I would end up eating his food and not getting food for myself. I'm like, that's the only thing. Room service food gets pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were eating stuff.
I did. I ate his
Really?
stuff. Yeah.
That's why he's so thin.
I ate all his food. No, it was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. He enjoyed it, but Fran and I were all talk. We brought a monitor and we were like, okay, we're gonna set we got a room that was close to the lobby restaurant, and Fran and I are like, we need a date night. Like, we'll get him to sleep. It's like a 1-minute walk, whatever. We will.
I got a hotspot,
Yeah,
a Wi-Fi
he got his
hotspot,
own-
international.
That's right, I
So
forgot. You
because
got
the
that.
Wi-Fi cameras don't work with the Wi-Fi in a hotel, because you have to put the password and the Wi-Fi, and it doesn't work
Oh,
with
yeah,
a
and you don't
portal
know, right.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So I had my own hotspot,
That's
my
right.
Wi-Fi camera. I got the whole
We
setup.
got a new monitor, the hotspot, so we could have it to our phones, knowing that we would get dressed, go to dinner, and set it up the whole time. Like that would be like our little portal to Remy. We'd be watching him and probably not even enjoy dinner. But we had big plans. You know how many times we used it and went out to dinner?
0.
0. We did not leave him. It was more because we were like very, very tired by the end of the day after all the pooling. I fried myself one day and made such a rookie mistake. I always bring Fitish product, especially tone down spray, whether it was my business or not, because like the spray works so well on a sunburn. And I just thought I got to have it. And I met a mom at the pool a few days in whose little boy was dealing with these skin bumps, a certain skin condition that I remembered our product actually works really well on. So I gave her my tone down spray. And then that day that I gave it to her, I got a little too comfy out in the sun. You know, that the breeze, and you forget sunscreen for a few hours and you're laying there and you don't feel like you're burning. And then all of a sudden you move or you go pee in the bathroom and you look at yourself and you realize like you're like crispy and it like kind of feels good. But then you're fucked the next day. And that was the case for me. And then I had given her the spray so I couldn't like ask for it back.
And we were all using it because I was like, I use it every morning.
Yeah, I'll bring 2 next
And then
time.
I was
so
trying
can
to
give
look for it, like,
people.
that's great. I'm pretty sure that kid needed it more than us.
Hopefully, yeah. Anyway, so we had a blast though. What was your favorite part of the trip?
Every part, like I seeing Remy just crawling in and out the ocean. That's something I really loved about. Like we were hesitant of going to Cabo or going to Playa del Carmen or Mayacoba, but my reasoning, besides the fact that I love the property, is that the Mexican Caribbean is unbeatable. Like
with the ocean. Yeah, because it's
the
so gentle
ocean is
and
just
warm.
flat, and
Yeah.
on top of it, in that property they have like guards, like blockages on the end of the shore, so you get no waves,
Yeah.
and it's very
Don't
clean.
lie. Another reason you wanted to go is so you could work.
Well, also,
Fran duped me and ends up having like, he's like, hey, I gotta go. He's like, I gotta go to the office. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're in Mexico. He's like, yeah, I gotta go to my office down here. And it's like, what, you forget your laptop? Like, that's what he says every night when he gets home. And he's like, no, I have a business meeting. So he goes at like 6 p.m. and has a meeting on vacation.
I have to work.
Yeah. I didn't know that we were going to the location so you could get a little work done too.
Well, babe, vacation is not gonna pay itself.
I learned something else new about Francisco. How would you feel? Changing gears. Do you know where I'm going with this?
I don't know, babe.
Okay. How would you feel? This is the first time, by the way, that I have like encountered something like this, I think. With you, I don't know. So how would you feel if you learned something about your partner? Like if your partner told you they were doing something like every week for years and you had no idea. And you had no idea. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin the story. So we get back in town and Francisco, you actually brought up to me that Francisco's king of Facebook Marketplace. I don't know if that's a good thing. I mean, he's always on Facebook Marketplace. Like equate the amount of time you may spend on Instagram or TikTok or whatever apps you love. Like Fran is always on Facebook Marketplace looking for the next deal, looking for, a good buy. Like he sends me stuff and I'm like, I don't want this. Like
I almost bought us a new ice chest to do but it went away.
So anyway, you remember back to a month or so ago when Fran was assaulted and not robbed of anything because he won. Well, Fran said that apparently we think this perpetrator like struck again, and a guy was posting online about how the same thing happened to him, but he actually lost his items. And so Fran and you started messaging with the guy. And so anyway, it got Fran and I into this conversation about, what happened that day and how I said to Francisco, you made a comment about a gun. And I was like, I'm actually really glad that you didn't have your gun, because my fear, in that Fran and I just don't agree on this, is that I get that guns are, as much as I believe in more gun control, like just openly wanting to talk about that. I mean, how can we not at this point? Like I'm still okay with people owning guns, but Fran, you went to military school. He knows how to use a gun. But my concern with the gun was that if you got into an altercation with someone, or if that guy was running away from him, right, and had stolen his book bag, his wallet, his laptop, his watch, like everything that Fran had to his name, I worry that you would have been really angry and that you would have pulled your gun out and shot someone running away from you in the back, and you were like, well, like I could have if he robbed me. And I'm like, because then
I
it
never
gets really,
said that.
Well, you said it wouldn't have been like that you would have shot him when you were tossing on the ground.
So if you're faced with deadly force, you can use deadly force.
No, I'm not, again, see, this is where we start getting into semantics. I totally agree that I don't think you would have necessarily been in the wrong. The issue with guns in general in that scenario is that it gets a little dicey. Like there's people around
100%.
like you're on the news because you shot an unarmed teenage black kid. Just let's say it for what it is, that was robbing you. And I get it. I get that legally.
But I would have not shot him if he was unarmed. Like I would not shot him if he was just running away just like
what
that.
If he had you pinned on the ground beating the shit out of you and you had a gun?
You had me pinned in the ground, beating the shit out of me.
But he's unarmed. Yeah.
But he has deadly force.
Okay, we're getting away from the point. The point is, I just think it could get really bad really quickly when there are weapons involved. That's all I said. I'm not saying you're in the wrong, okay? I'm just saying that I'm kind of glad you didn't have it, because I don't know where your level of like usage with the gun. Where does it stop and where does it end? Anyway, I trust you. I know you're good. And you go, oh, I'm really good with the gun. Francisco says to me, I go to the gun range every week. I had no idea that my partner of the last 5 years almost goes to the gun range. So I said that to him. I go, since when? Like, how does this not come up in conversation? How do you not go, wow, do you want to go with me? Like, I've been before when I had that stalker, because I had my own gun that I got when I had this stalker following me around when I was on the radio. And like, I went to the gun range a few times, took some lessons, learned how to use it. I never got my conceal handgun license. I know now you don't even need it to take it places, but mine was always just like in my bedroom drawer or something. Now we keep it in a safe, that we have Remy, and Fran has a few more guns. But anyway, the point is, I was like, how do I not know that my partner, that I thought we like told each other everything, that you've been going to the gun range? And then he kind of backtracked. He's like, well, I've been going every other week. But still, for 5 years, he's never like sent me a photo of like, how have you never sent me like a picture of the target, the Osama bin Laden with like all the holes in the
because
head?
I don't
like,
go,
he's never,
like,
you know what
I
I mean?
literally
Like, I feel like,
just go to make sure that they work properly.
right.
And that's
the
how I
point
found out that my small
The
gun
point is, you tell me
wasn't
about
shooting.
the fucking coffee and piece of bread you had for lunch, but you don't tell me you went to the gun range.
I don't tell you about the piece of coffee and bread that I have for lunch.
Well, that's right, because you're not eating bread or coffee or anything anymore. You're
Coffee I do.
starving. But like, you tell me such innocuous facts about your day that then I'm like, what? Like, the point is, if I told you that I had been going to the gun range once a week for the last couple of years, and I had never told you that, you'd be like, really? What? You would feel the same way. I was just shocked to learn that I had no idea that you've been going all the time. And also, you're leaving me high and dry to fend for myself when you go out of town, and you're telling me to use these giant guns that I don't even know how to use.
The thing is that here's what the situation is. I do it in 15 minutes time. Like, I normally go between meetings, something. There is a really close by gun range. So I go do it, come back. It doesn't take a lot of planning or preparation. If I were to invite you, we need to plan it and prepare it and have a whole like arrangement for it.
That's just part
and
two.
we need to do that.
You don't even tell me about it. See, you are dismissing my feelings. You are not acknowledging them about how I'm surprised that you've been doing something.
I acknowledge that.
Then leads to the whole like questioning of all of your activities, your other illicit activities that I don't know about.
Well, I'm not going to tell you all those anymore.
It's fine, because
if
they
these
tell
ones
me.
shocked you,
Because they tell me, because people see, I love y'all, by the way. Like, I can't tell you how many times I get messages. Half the ones I haven't even shared with Fran, but I'll get messages from people that are like, I saw Francisco today at lunch. Did you know he was having lunch with a woman? And I'm like, so I'll ask Fran, I'll be like, where'd you go
my
to
shooting
lunch
buddy.
today? Huh? Your shooting buddy? Shut the fuck up. She's my shooting buddy.
She's my shooting buddy.
I saw Fran at the gun range with a girl today that wasn't you. Oh, I'd be so mad. Yeah, no. So I'll ask Fran, I'll be like, where'd you have lunch today? He's like, oh, at the Hillstone or somewhere, with X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, man, he can't get away with anything. You usually would tell me the truth, I think.
Yeah. You think.
You better be careful.
Babe.
So smart-assy. So smart-assy today. What's going on with you?
I don't know, babe. What's going on with you?
Just making content for our podcast. Just
Amazing.
Talking. What
That's
do you
good.
have?
Well, I have vacation.
Talked about it.
I have gun range that I wanted to surprise you, tell you that I'm very proficient at it.
Yep, talked
But
about
you
it.
already
Oh, no, it was on my list of notes to bring up. What's your next big content plan?
What about the next live that we're going to have?
This is good preparation. At
Yeah.
least you're preparing for using your firearms.
100%. No. And something I have to make a parenthesis. You should get your license. If you're going to have a gun, you should get a license just because.
You have one?
I need to renew it, but I did all the preparation for it. Yeah. So it's very important to know the law. Because people think, oh, if someone breaks into my house or if someone breaks into your house at night, you can shoot them. Regardless. But people think that it's just easy. And there's a lot of laws involved in this. And a lot of laws that you think that you're in the clear and you're pretty much never in the clear.
Yeah.
So it's important to be aware of those laws. So next in the Fitish podcast, we're going to talk about.
Do you all see how great this is? Do you see where these fights come from? Someone commented the other day, by the way. I like reading the YouTube comments because some people are actually just really shitty. And I'm like, why do y'all even listen to us if you hate me so much? But someone said, Fran, you're so good about telling Jenna how pretty she looks. Jenna, you should do the same for Fran. And I'm like, okay. I was like, man, never let them catch you slipping, right? Like I feel that I'm super effusive with you. Like I've been constantly complimenting
Ask
your
our
looks and your
audience.
weight and your weight loss.
I'm just
sure in
here.
that segment
Thank God I don't need compliments. I just compliment
Oh,
myself.
shut the fuck up. Even Danny, who works for me, my girls, I ask her
she
all the time.
compliments me.
No, I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm like, no, I ask them, I go, I work really hard. Something for me that's a love language are words of affirmation. And so that's something that I usually am good at doing. Like I communicate, I use my words, I tell someone how I feel about them endlessly. And I always say to Danny, like, am I effusive enough with y'all about work? You know, because I am definitely constructive with things that I want done, but I also try to be very complimentary when they do a good job and let them know because I think that's important. Like it's a nice balance, you know, to be complimentary, but when it's meaningful. But I feel like I've been complimenting your appearance a lot lately. Am I not?
Yeah, but I had to lose 20 pounds for that to happen.
And you're just so annoying about it. I mean, that's the thing, right? When like your partner's on a diet and you're not. And then I'm good about stopping and checking myself because I'm like, is he annoying or am I jealous, right? You have to question, like, there's part of that for sure. But he's also like crunching next to me in bed at night, like eating these like.
Babe, I changed. I don't do those anymore. I do the pancakes.
It's just crazy that this diet of astronaut food allows you to eat pancakes in bed at night.
So it's just a matter of balance, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You have certain things that you can eat. You can pick the time. And it takes discipline.
When on this diet are you allowed to exercise? See, he's not been allowed to exercise because he's in such a caloric deficit. He might die.
I'm allowed to exercise like cardio. I just have chosen not to because like I'm really good. I'm not perfect, you know? Like I'm really disciplined with my eating. I am not perfect with the whole thing. Like I have to choose my battles.
What do you mean? Because you're too tired to exercise.
Yeah, I wake up every morning, average 5:30.
Yeah.
And there's no time for that. Like I carry that munchkin.
I'll make time for the things we want to do.
And that's exactly what I'm making time for. Like I make time for us. I make time for my monkey, my little Remskis.
I didn't
my
know
little
what
meatball.
you meant by that.
And
I was like, that's
and I make time to play.
That's what we're calling the penis now, huh? Your little monkey. Whatever you're into.
I make time for that.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Some chess here and there, running, rowing. It's just
marketplacing.
No, I said running and rowing. Not in the agenda schedule right now.
I know it. I know. And I have
by
been like,
choice.
I know by choice because I have multiple times. I even got a babysitter one time so you and I could go do something together. We had a Fitish event, a workout event. And I wanted you to come and you didn't come. I wanted to work out with you because I like doing things together like that. I don't love working out all the time by any means. I've been kind of on and off with it, but I do feel better emotionally when I exercise. It's kind of less about the physical now as we've gotten older. It's more about the
now that I know that.
The emotional. I was having such bad anxiety.
You told me that yesterday.
Anxiety yesterday. Do y'all ever have that feel? It's so strange, you know? And I think, I don't know the root of it. I'm okay. It wasn't anything super severe, but do you ever have that feeling of just like, what did you say? Ominous?
Yeah, like do me.
Do me.
But it's so that only happens to me when I go into a bender. Like if I go out Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, it kind of was that feeling.
And do like a lot of alcohol and other shit. Sunday and Monday, I feel like the whole shit is going to crumble.
I felt really uneasy, you know, when you feel like the bottom's going to drop out, like you feel that something bad's going to happen. I don't know. It was weird. I couldn't get to the root of it. I think sometimes maybe I feel that way after flying home and feeling that I've been a little out of touch for a week, even though it was great. Like I actually really disconnected.
And
for
they
the
met
most
your
part.
spirited animal in the plane.
Yeah.
She was crying half of the whole.
We met a woman having a breakdown on the plane. That was it was a great plane ride.
You telling her what that plane lose an engine when you were there didn't help much.
I didn't tell her that. Oh, I didn't tell her that. I would never do that because I have empathy because I'm a kind soul that can empathize with a woman having a panic attack on an airplane. We drugged her. She had a 5-month-old, handed the baby to the woman next to her, who fed the baby a bottle and let the baby sleep on her the entire flight because the woman, who was like a heightened version of me.
She couldn't have a better setup.
Yeah, it was great. We were surrounded by nice people, and Remy was like a lot on the airplane on the way home, and we just had a really nice crew around us. Everyone was like, "It's a baby, it's fine." Everyone was cool.
Yeah,
it was nice.
Well,
lots of babies.
Everybody had a baby there.
Yeah, I didn't drug myself on the flight back. I was feeling good. I had a super futured gummy. Those are nice, you know.
Those are amazing.
Which I actually have to say, and being transparent, I don't like to. I could never smoke weed and fly. Like that is not. It would set me off in a paranoid direction, and I'm not even like a paranoid. You know, I do not get paranoid with marijuana anymore unless I have too much. But I could not fly. And these are different, you know, they're much more mild. So yeah, I had some of those on vacation. It was nice. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure where my feeling was, but I did start my period this morning and maybe that's what it was. Maybe my hormones are a little out of whack, but yeah, I felt
Maybe I should have been the ones feeling the anxiety.
No, I don't get mean on my period. I get tired. I have really bad cramps.
You're right. No, never.
Smart assy is back. What's happening with you?
No, I'm just saying that you don't get mean.
I know. You're mean enough for the both of us. I'm sensitive.
Sweetheart.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We got a bunch of great questions, actually. So we're going to get to some of those when we return. As much as I love going on vacation, there's something so great about coming home from vacation. It makes you appreciate all the food you have at home. And lucky for me, I had a new Daily Harvest order in my freezer, which is so nice because you know you get home from out of town and you're like, oh, I have to grocery shop. Nope, not Fran and I. Daily Harvest delivers delicious smoothies, flatbread soups, harvest bowls, bites, and more. Everything's built on sustainably sourced fruits and veggies, and they deliver it all right to your door. There's so many different options too, by the way. You know, back in the day, they used to just have smoothies, and I would get these, you know, every month delivered, but now they have so many other options. Fran particularly loves the flatbreads, and I really like the soups. It's so nice because then I have something to throw in my purse and bring to work, and it keeps me on track when I want to keep eating healthy. Daily Harvest is so yummy. Go to dailyharvest.com/Fitish to get up to $65 off your first box. That's dailyharvest.com/Fitish for up to $65 off your first box. dailyharvest.com/Fitish. Francisco and I have been making a lot of effort to have a better diet and just have better nutrition in general. And as we're cooking food for Remy all the time, it's so nice to all be on the same page. And Butcher Box has really saved us when it comes to this because we love to eat meat, but we like good meat. We're snobby when it comes to meat, especially Francisco. He always likes to go to the store and pick it out himself. And he's been so thrilled with all the cuts of meat that we've gotten out of our Butcher Box. And this is like the highest quality meat you can get, and seafood, and it's delivered right to our front door. It's convenient, it's affordable, and we love cooking dinner together with Remy. We got him a little stool in the kitchen so he can stand. He watches Fran cook the steak. I make the veggies. We're eating, you know, either salmon or some sort of ribeye and broccoli for dinner. And we all feel healthy. It's just nutritious. And it's so fun for all of us to do together. And the best part is I didn't have to go to the store and pick out all the meat. They delivered so much good stuff right to our front door. I'm talking about 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork raised crate-free, wild-caught seafood. You can really trust this. Everything's been humanely raised, no antibiotics or added hormones. They always have free shipping, by the way, and you can curate it. You know, if you're not into seafood or if you're not into pork, you don't have to have that. You can leave that out and just go for the red meat if that's your thing. And right now, ButcherBox is giving us a special deal. You can sign up today using the code FITISH, F-I-T-I-S-H. You can get ground beef for a year plus $20 off your first order. 2 pounds of ground beef free in every box you get for a whole year, plus $20 off your first order when you sign up at butcherbox.com/Fitish and use the code Fitish. You have to capitalize on this. Think about how many times you've gone to the grocery store, you've gotten a pound of ground beef, you either forgot to make it and it went bad. This is perfect. It'll be frozen, throw it in the freezer. 2 pounds of ground beef for free in every box for a year, plus $20 when you go to butcherbox.com/Fitish and use the code Fitish.
And we're back.
And we're back. Thank you. I was frustrated with Fran this morning. We were at the doctor. I was frustrated with you because I feel like this is the better time to just like ask for what I want on my period. See, y'all better have my back at some point here. I find it hard to bring up like when you want, if something bothers you or if it's just this thing. Like Fran and I tend to have this issue. Like I want to like talk to him about something, but I think that you tend to get like really frustrated. Like you kind of have this impression that you're like, I can't do anything right. And I'm like, no, it's not that. But today we took Remy to the doctor. We got him back into the dermatologist because we didn't know if he had, like, his face got so flared up when we were out of town. Like it looked so awful. And we've gotten a lot of different feedback. Like we've been to the allergist. He's allergic to nothing. I had already taken him to this dermatologist and she's like top pediatric dermatologist in town. And so, we didn't know if it was like there's like severe kinds of eczema or what we've been thinking it was lately is like a staph infection, right? Because he has like crusty, it just looks like bad sores on his face. And we've tried a whole bunch of stuff. And anyway, so we actually got in to go this morning and go back, but Fran the whole point was 15 minutes and Remy was pretty fussy. Like he doesn't want anyone messing with him and he has this spot on his elbow. And so I know you're busy, you were working, but you were on your phone almost that whole appointment. So she's kind of going through this protocol and what the next steps are. And if this doesn't work, a vaccine that we can do and all sorts of stuff. And then I asked her about his stitches from his eye and how she thought they were looking. And her and I had like I'm not even kidding, like a 3-minute conversation about the stitches. And she was kind of going on about how the redness is the last thing to subside. It's only been 3 weeks. She thinks it looks great. And Fran, no joke, you put your phone down and you say, what do you think about the stitches? And I'm like,
well, I just wanted to see if she rehearsed the first part and she can remember this. Like
it's so rude. You're not present. And it really bothered me because I'm like, it's 15 minutes. I
apologize about that.
I totally get that you're busy. But I'm like, you're not Jeff Bezos. And even he's on vacation right now. Like you make the time. Like 15 minutes. Because you are so overly caring about Remy, actually. Like even in a way more than I am. Like you're overly concerned in a great way. But you're super concerned about his face. And about, what's been going on. And so you were out of town last time and when I had to take him to this derm by myself, which that was like a whole thing because he was crazy. And then you did that. And I'm like, so by the way, she went through this whole order of medicine and I know what's going to happen. We're going to get home and you're going to be like, which one is this? What do I do with this? Because it was like actually kind of complicated, like to follow along. Like,
but even if I would have put on 100% of my attention, I would have asked those questions.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have been like, so what do you think about the scar? Like her and I had just finished a 3-minute conversation about it. So the point is, it's not isolated to this. It's like, how am I supposed to tell you I want you more present?
Just like that.
Yeah, I know. So now the public knows I want you more present. I feel like I would like more connection with you. I know that it's hard. I feel like I've been trying because I know I'm not going to say I'm like perfect at not being on my phone either, but I am. I feel like you should notice a difference because I've been working really hard on not, especially at night. And so I don't even know if you noticed this on vacation, but I like limited myself to like an hour, like at night on my phone. And sometimes it's hard when I can't sleep or I wake up, in the middle of the night and you're sleeping because I don't like know what else to do. I've had insomnia lately, but in general, I really disconnected. Like I didn't share anything on social really. I didn't even really look through social media. I had a couple of meetings that I took earlier on in the vacation week that I had to that were important. But aside from that, it felt really nice actually. Like, and I think I realized for me that maybe, I don't know if this is the same for a lot of y'all. And I know I'm in a bit of a different position having kind of created like this platform for myself that I realize when I post something that a lot of people have feedback or they compliment or they write something cute about Remy, and I feel this need to respond. You know what I mean? Like I want to be like, thank you. Like that's so nice. You know, like I interact, like I like interacting with people. I tend to respond to almost everyone at some point. It can be very time consuming. And sometimes I've just decided I am okay, I could post and then like never look back at it. No, that's not great either. So I just decided to not. I was like, I can like kind of take the week off. It felt so nice. So I don't know if y'all feel that way. I mean, I think there is something so great about the validation or just the kind of interaction you get with friends or strangers, right? About like posting stuff from your life and yeah, and just looking at stuff. But it's such a downward spiral sometimes, you know, like you can be on a vacation and then you're looking through social and you're like, well, that vacation looks even, you know, nicer or I don't know, or you think about stuff. I don't know. You just look at other things, and yeah, I just decided to kind of. I still took a bunch of pictures. Obviously, I brought a little disposable camera and the nice camera and took a bunch of pictures. But it was so nice, yeah, that I just kind of disconnected. I was like, I want to maybe try this as like a thing that I do once a month. That I do like, you know, a whole week of just not, you know, I mean, I can't not get on social media whatsoever, like with business and posting and stuff. But yeah, just kind of like not being as active after a certain amount of time or something like that. I think it would be nice to put a limit on it because it's so addicting.
That's a great call.
It's so addicting for sure.
Yeah, I think I know people that have schedules. You know, like at certain point they block their phones. There's applications for
I
that.
know. And it's like, you know, on TikTok when they're like, you've been scrolling for a really long time. You should get some rest. I'm like, fuck you. Like I keep scrolling.
I've never
like
gotten
I'm
that.
an adult. Like I'm an adult. Don't tell me to go to bed. Like that's my reaction. Like if I put myself on a timer, like with an alarm, I'd be like, psh, get out of here. I just like wouldn't do it just because I was being told not to. You know, that's the way I work.
Yeah.
So no, it was just self-imposed. Like it's just more
amazing.
casual
Yeah,
than
no,
that.
for
I liked
sure.
it. Okay, we did get some questions. I'll get to that. Hopefully, Fran will be more engaged. That was my whole thing, but I don't think I made it very far.
For sure.
Are you on your phone? I'm on my phone because this is where I have our questions. Danny sent me screen shared a bunch of the questions that got submitted. How are you all handling trusting people to watch Remy after your nanny fiasco?
Not great. Well, we have a couple people that are certified ish. Your mom?
Certified-ish? What do you mean? Certified-ish because they've been moms before? What's certified-ish?
No, because we've seen them and we have like we trust them. But like if you would have told me on vacation, hey, you guys go, we have a nanny service here at the hotel, I would have said, no, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know, y'all. How do y'all trust anything anymore with kids? I had a long conversation with my mom yesterday. We drove by a school getting out and people were picking up their kids. And it just was kind of this conversation my mom and I fell into naturally about when I was young and the kind of things you didn't have to worry about when we were kids about going to school. She goes, I mean, she goes, I volunteered with PTA and I was up at the school bringing you lunch almost every day. She's like, I don't even know if you remember because I hated, you know, she was a stay-at-home mom. She's like, I hated being gone from you all day. She goes, if what's been going on in the world now was going, she goes, forget about it. I mean, it has to be so difficult. I mean, we don't even have Remy.
Doesn't sound so far-fetched.
We don't even have Remy in school yet. But for those of you, I would love to hear from you actually. Every day when you drop your kids off, do you just think, I hope they're okay today? You know what I mean? Because you know that you hope they're okay or you wouldn't be doing it. But like that little seed of doubt has to be in your head. And what a hard time we live in right now.
And just this, particularly right now, he's in such an exploratory stage in his life. And I'm pretty sure that's just going to exacerbate as he gets older. But he needs someone that is absolutely dedicated to him.
Yeah.
Like, look at him. Like, if they lose their sight on him, it's not going to be more than
right
like
now. He's
30 seconds.
So I don't know, to answer your question, I don't trust anyone 100%. But I've said this before and it pisses Fran off. I don't trust anyone in my life 100%, period, which maybe sounds sad to you. I don't know. I trust Fran and I trust my mom and I trust, you know, a few friends.
What's the percentage?
I mean, the most that I trust anyone isn't, why do you have to put a number on it?
I just want to know the thermometer. That's why one goes to shoot every fucking other week, just in case.
What? I don't know. I don't put a percentage on it. I trust you. I'm just saying. I mean, how do you trust? I don't know if I even 100% trust myself with Remy. I mean, he fell at my feet the other day and cut his eye open. You know what I mean? I don't. It's not a negative thing that I don't trust anyone 100%. It's just that I don't know. I'm more cynical. Like I just don't think anyone can. We're human. We're flawed. Like no one can be trusted 100%. So I think you just have to find who you feel. Who does your child like a lot? Like he hadn't seen Marie in a week, and he gave her a big hug today when she walked in.
Yeah.
He really loves
Didn't
her.
slap her. It was
Hit her
nice.
like he's been hitting me. Yeah, it's really hard though. I think it's really hard to find trust. Someone asked, what's the worst date you've ever had and why?
Between us?
No, probably with other people.
Oh.
You have like a worse one with us off the top of your head?
Well, we haven't gotten alone in all of our dates.
I have one. Do you have one? Not about me, about like a wild one. I have one while you think of yours. You know mine, but I don't know if I've ever like publicly shared mine.
Which one? The ballet?
No, that one's good though. That was bad, actually. No, it wasn't like a bad date, but what happened was bad. I have some bad ones, by the way. I mean, just to quickly rattle them off. I went out of town and got stood up. That's pretty bad. By a professional athlete. So that was awesome. I went, okay, first of all, there was a valet driver that left out my car. He was super hot and I was like, I'm gonna go out with him. I mean, and of course now Fran hears this story and he's like, geez, it's really funny. So we went out and I could just kind of tell from the jump between the place he chose, meeting there. He lived really far away. He started to kind of tell me, he was a dad at the time. This was, of course, like way before I was ready to become a parent. And then it kind of progressed. And so when we got back to work at the radio show, we thought we'd do a background check on him. And when I tell y'all that the background check came out to be like 24 like arrests, like I couldn't believe it. We were dying. I mean, we didn't talk about this on the radio in that way. I, of course, just like never went out with him again. We had only gone out for like a drink and like nachos or something. But it's so sad. It was so terrible. But like, yeah, the date itself like wasn't that great either. I mean, it wasn't anything like horrifying. It just like, there was like no spark there for me. He like said nothing. He asked me no questions about my life. Like he didn't seem like a very smart person. And and he was nice enough, but he made this comment about how he like hadn't seen his child in 9 years because like he got in a fight with the mom. And I'm like, man, you got to do something like kind of fucked up to not be able to see your kid. And so then that spiraled into the background check. And yeah, he had like 23 arrests. Like one was like on Christmas. I'm like, oh my God, this is a mess. But then it made sense. Like, yeah, I guess I didn't know. So what? He was cute. He was nice. He like was forward. And then there was the Iceland one, the date in Iceland, which was like a Dateline episode ready to happen. So yeah, that's a story for another day, I guess. But yeah, I've had some bad ones. But yeah, I went on a date to Iceland, which I mean, I paid my own way for, by the way. But the guy was like, ended up being a little cray.
That's so funny.
What about you?
I don't have like a bad date that I can remember. I think I can assure that there's certain women that can talk about a bad date with me. And in particular, just because there was this part, like when I was in my 20s, I was on and off with this girl that I was dating.
Mm-hmm.
And I scheduled another date when we were off. And then I got on back again and I forgot about my date. But fortunately, that night that I had the date, we got in an argument. So she texted me like, are you coming? I'm waiting. And like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm on my way. So I actually, after the argument, went to my date an hour and a half late.
And she was still waiting on
She
you?
was still waiting
That's
on
so
me.
desperate.
And then
There's no fucking way I
that
would have
same
waited
night
that
we
long.
had like a Christmas party. So I brought her alone to the Christmas party. It was just a shit show.
How's that a bad date?
Well, it wasn't a bad date for me, but I'm pretty sure it was
I
a bad
know
date
your
for
bad
her.
date.
Which one?
The one that she roofied you and stole all your shit.
Oh, that wasn't a date.
Fran and I still argue about this when we first met because I know deep down there's more to the story he won't share with me for probably a lot of reasons. Like maybe, I don't know. I don't know why. There's obviously a reason why, but
That was really straightforward.
it wasn't straightforward that this person followed you into your apartment. Like
She
you
didn't follow me.
brought the girls
They
in,
literally-
and then he passes out and like wakes up because it actually was very traumatic for him. So I don't want to make light of like what happened, but we met 3 weeks later. And when I went to his place, he had like nothing in it because like these hookers probably like,
It was not that I had nothing in it.
Gave
Like I
him
had
gum.
furniture and I have
you
like
took gum
everything.
from the hooker and like they like took his watches and like television, like basically let other guys into the apartment. You need to listen to the Lil Wayne Kendrick Lamar song Mona Lisa. That's exactly what the song's about. That's what I was having you listen to the other day. Mona Lisa, the lyrics of that rap song. That song's so good, by the way, if y'all haven't listened to it. But the whole story is about a ring of people doing that to people.
I think that's peak top traumatic situation. And I've been in very, very stressful situations in my life, but being not able to move while someone
people robbing you
is going through every one of your drawers, doors, cabinets, everything. It's just like I just chose at that point to close my eyes again because I didn't know where that was about to end, and I knew that I could do nothing about it. So
it was an expensive date.
It wasn't a date. It was just.
Did they put anything in your butt?
No, they would have taken it. They took. They just took.
They didn't give.
They didn't give. Bitches.
Oh, that's dark. Okay, let's move on to something else. Sorry. Okay, so for you see how Fran's like, I've been a great date to all these people. I'm just listing off all of these.
I said that I have had great dates, but I'm pretty sure I wasn't a great date.
I haven't even scratched the surface probably on mine. Those are just the ones that come to mind. Yeah. Dating fucking sucked. All of those things actually too. Mine happened like within a couple. I had some good ones in between, but nothing like. But yeah, and then that's kind of when I was like, I am so done with this. Which brings me to, and then I met you a few months later, which brings me to someone actually said, single in my 30s, how do I deal with everyone's opinion on my lack of a husband? And it's like, man, I don't
hang out with different people.
Yeah, exactly. I just never felt, I don't know. I never felt this. I mean, sure, I internally wanted to meet someone, but it wasn't based on my age. I wanted to meet a good life partner. Who cares? Everyone has opinions of you. Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Are you lonely? Are you desperate? I mean, yeah, if you're happy with yourself and you're going to places that you like to go and doing things with your life that you like to do, it'll happen. You'll meet a good partner at some point. I just was never really worried about that sort of thing. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of people felt that. I mean, think about it. I was 35 and totally single. This is when some of these bad dates were happening. I was 35 and going, wow, it's just getting worse out there. I was like, this climate is bad. Because I also was recognizing as you get older as a woman, when you start meeting men that are in their 40s and have never been married or never engaged, I should have known, but I didn't know that that's also a red flag because they have major commitment issues. I was like, oh, wow, they don't have any baggage. Instead of looking at guys that had been married and young in their 20s, maybe were divorced, maybe they had a kid, I was looking at that as like, that's baggage. When in reality, that kind of shows they're capable of committing and if they're still a good dad and that sort of thing. So in hindsight, I didn't know what I was doing, but yeah, I just think people have opinions about everything. Gosh, people have opinions about me, my life, and I think you just kind of stop caring as much as you get older because that's just tiring. I don't really care anymore what other people think about me.
Yeah.
You can do everything right. You can do everything right. You can be a nice person. You're still going to have people that don't like what you're doing or that aren't nice to you or that aren't loyal friends. And it sucks. What?
That's the story of my life. Like, I think I'm doing everything right and still like... But anyhow, that's the story for another day.
I'm just asking you to be present. It doesn't have to spiral into that. Just be present a little bit more in the moment.
I mean, 100%.
Just if you are happy, that's all that matters.
Clap your hands.
Kill me. You're killing me. Fran, what's been your favorite Remy age?
So it started from the first second I saw him.
Oh my gosh. Can you ever just answer a question and like pick a moment?
It hasn't. Like every single age has had something amazing. And the thing is that...
Mine's this one.
Right now?
Yeah.
So this one, it's it's one of right now it's my favorite because that's what we have. But when he was super little, there was something like things has been evolving, like, and things have changed its challenges. Like when he was little, he seemed very fragile, but he wasn't mobile at all. So he was able to, like, I was able to take him anywhere and everywhere, and it was really easier to
Yeah.
keep him at ease. Right now, he has a lot of energy, which is amazing, but it brings other challenges.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. It gets harder. It gets more fun and harder in a different way. The reason I like it, and you and I are so funny. I didn't, in hindsight, I can admit this. Like, I just really didn't like the newborn stage very much. I mean, you do it and you go through it. And I think if I had kind of known that it was going to end, I may have appreciated the smallness and the helplessness a little bit more than I did, but I was so overwhelmed with everything, being a first time mom, that I didn't really enjoy it very much. And I just kind of dealt with it day by day. But I'll say this, that now someone else asked, like, developmentally, what's been our favorite like milestone? And that one's hard to pinpoint, but I would say this, like, his ability to communicate more now. I mean, he's saying wow, he's saying no, 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 and shaking his little finger, and like the verbal approach of this I really like, because I'm such a talker and I love communicating. Like, I just think communicating with people, animals, whatever it is, just like the way we communicate with each other, I've always loved it. I'm so fascinated by it. So for me, talking more than walking, actually. I mean, seeing him walk's been cool, but I love him learning how to communicate what he wants. And I'm kind of like, hurry up, dude, because these little hissy fits, I know he's frustrated that he can't communicate what he wants. And I'm like, the way I talk to him is so weird, I'm sure. I'm like, hey, Remy, I can see that you're frustrated. So why don't you figure out how to tell me what you want? I'm like, I'm just going to let you do this for a second. But I talk to him kind of like adult style in a way, because I think he's going to figure out how to communicate more.
No, I think someone, and I need to learn this and be like this in more aspects in my life, but if I'm very present is when I'm with him, and I don't wait for the next day. Like, I'm not waiting for him to grow any older, or
Yeah.
every second of his existence have been great. It has been very fulfilling. Like, since we were able to cuddle in bed since he was like month 2, and I was like spending every night with him, and every morning, and everything is like, there's been just little aspects that have been very fulfilling. But I think it's that enjoying that exact moment and soaking it all in.
Isn't that the thing too? I think that's really so wonderful about children, even though it's so difficult, is it gives you such a different perspective on life, and you can never really prepare someone for that. And I'll say, as challenging as it is and as day by day as it feels, I just love, especially being on vacation, moments like that. I mean, he's not going to remember it, but gosh, he had such a great time. And it's just so wonderful. And it is easier to like put the phone down and not worry about work when you get home. And so much of the other noise, I think, that used to get in the way of life for me and for us and for our relationship, it's so nice just to be in that moment with him, learning and kind of like exploring the world for the first time. And it's so simple. It makes you realize like life can be so much simpler than we make it. And it's definitely, I think, changed our priorities of what we hope for our life as well. From
Exactly.
like financial objectives, or, all these things that you're like, I need to make more money, or I need to do this, or I da 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 da. I'm actually more confused why I encounter people that still kind of are in this rat race when they have all these kids and they want like nice things. And I'm like, why? Like, these kids are so simple. Like, I actually, if anything, want to make a life that's more simple for
And
us
they'll be
and
happy
safe.
anywhere.
He'd be happy anywhere. He'd be happy, like, we could move to the beach and live down there, and he would just be like
The happiest.
so
It's
happy. And
just
I love
so-
that. We
that's
don't need so
something-
much shit.
Part of my existentialism,
Rolls right off the tongue.
that I fall into the trap, but I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
How we value what we value,
Yeah.
and we devalue what we like. We value material, we value gold, we value this, and we value that. Yet there's things that are easier and way more simple and everyday things that we neglect.
Yeah, time. I think that's what's so difficult, is you want
it's
more
just
time.
crazy. It's just crazy how Like every car with 4 wheels will take you anywhere. Like just shit like that. And we,
I mean, I like a nice car.
of
know?
course.
No, but I get it. It's so true. So, yeah, take a vacation. This was more fun, by the way, than, the 6-month-old mark, I think, because that was just truly parenting with a nice view. There's still some of that, but it felt a little bit, like we had a grip on it a little more, like he enjoyed it or understood what we were doing a little bit more. It was just different than a year ago when we went somewhere. So we'll see. Hopefully we can do it again. I don't feel quite as tired as I did last year when we did it.
No,
even though we came home and Fran wanted to sleep for like 2 days. You come home from a vacation with a child and you're like, okay, now I need.
Well, the things that his sleep wasn't on point. Like he was waking up at 4, but it was such an amazing time.
Thank you. It was actually a birthday present to me, and you were so great about it because you even you took on more parenting moments, I think, than I did, because you were like, stay here, I'll take him back so we can you would go nap together, and you left me to get like lobster fried down by the beach. But it was really nice. I would like sit there and have a drink. Isn't it amazing what like an hour of free time as a parent now, like how much you value that hour that you probably didn't value it as much before.
You don't want to row or run.
Huh?
I said you don't want to.
No, I didn't. I brought workout clothes. I didn't get one.
Oh, me too.
Workout.
I brought sneakers and it's like, yeah, dude. I brought it just in case, like.
Yeah, just in case.
Just I was being chased by a fucking crocodile or something. I need to put my sneakers on.
Just in case. Yeah. Well, thank you. I had a great time.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Thanks very much.
So happy.
All right. Well, sounds great. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
Y'all. I'll be more present.